Hi, this is Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to pose a question to you. Are you a new resume information junkie? Are you always seeking out new resume tips and tricks that you can implement into your resume? And I ask you this because sometimes that can be bad, which sounds really counterintuitive, but when you're constantly seeking out what's new, but you haven't taken care of the basics, always seeking out what's new can be a detriment. And here's the context in which I pose this question to you and why I want to talk about it today. I had put up a blog post, I can't remember which one it was, a few weeks ago, and about doing resume and LinkedIn achievements and how to write them on your document. And someone had posted and commented to me or actually emailed me that they were unimpressed, that this was not new information. And they knew all of this and they were disappointed because I put out so much good content, that they were disappointed by this post. And, I think I'm allowed some humanity and that they don't always have to be rock stars. But with that being said, when someone gives me feedback, about that there's no information in their blog post, or they know all this, that's usually another piece of feedback I sometimes get. I know all this. This isn't anything I haven't heard before. I always kind of meander over to their profile and I take a look. And what I typically find is that, if I'm covering, 5 ways to write LinkedIn achievements and how to write them powerfully, or how to write the achievements for your resume to stand out and get an interview, whatever the topic is that I'm writing about, and on how to write your resume or how to write your LinkedIn profile, that is eliciting that feedback of I've heard this all before, or I know this, this isn't new. When I go and look at their profile, because obviously that's public and I can't, I don't have their resume with me, I noticed that they're not implementing what's in the article that they already know, so, and then I'll email them back respectfully and say, I take your feedback respectfully. I thank you for reading, but, I just want to pose a challenge to you. How about you implement what's in the blog post? I don't see that you're implementing, point A, point C, and point, D. So you may know it, but are you implementing it? Because if you're always seeking out what's new, but you haven't taken care of the basics with your resume or your profile, you're doing yourself a disservice. So you need to take care of the basics on your resume. And today I'm going to talk specifically about your resume, but this really applies to LinkedIn. It applies to steps in your job search. It applies to steps in your interview prep. I mean, frankly, it applies to life, right? You can't start doing the advanced and the intermediate if you haven't taken care of the basics. So, some of the basics with your resume is, you need to have a targeted summary title. You need to have achievement-based bullets. You need to have a simple, digestible Microsoft Word-based document. You may convert it into a PDF or whatnot, but you need to keep it simple in its design and its elements. And, so I'm going to cover this in more detail, these basics that are essential for the intermediate and advanced tactics to happen. But in order to cover the intermediate and advanced, I need to make sure you have the basics, and so should you. So I am going to cover some of these basics that are really the foundation for a solid marketing document in the form of a resume in my next training session. So you can go to the link in the description and you can register, and you'll be able to sign up for that free training, and we'll go through how to write your document to land interviews. But most importantly, I want you to go back to my original question. Are you a new resume tips information junkie? And if you are, there's nothing wrong with it in any way, shape, or form per se, but you need to make sure that you're taking care of the basics. If you're always seeking out what's new, but you haven't taken care of the basics, then, applying the new information isn't going to matter if you don't have the basics taken care of. So I want to make sure that you have a holistic approach to your resume development efforts, and you're not just focusing on what's new, because some of the timeless, classic, still relevant information needs to be implemented as well. And just because it's maybe even a little boring and not sexy sometimes, it doesn't mean it's not relevant. So you need to take care of the basics. So that's my message for today is, you know, put your new resume tips, information, junkiehood in check, and join me on my next training session to take care of the basics. It's just really important. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have an awesome day. See you next time. Bye.